Let's look at the global reach of this kind of violence and also this disturbing idea of the facade of normalcy, starting with John Martin Scripps.
John Martin Scripps, nicknamed the Tourist from Hell. He has the grim distinction of being the first Westerner executed for murder in Singapore, April 19th, 1996.
What was the background? Any trauma there?
Significant trauma, yes. His father committed suicide, his mother got cancer. One forensic psychologist suggested this trauma just festered away and becomes a fantasy of getting revenge.
And his criminal path.
It evolved, started with things like burglary, moved up to drug trafficking, and he was apparently quite good at escaping prison. Numerous escapes.
Okay, an escape artist.
And here's a really unsettling detail. While he was locked up in Albany prison, Scripps learned butchery skills.
As in meat cutting.
Exactly. How to dismember portioned animals. Skills he later applied gruesomely to his victims.
Oh my God, that's chilling. Taking a practical skill and twisting it like that.
It's deeply disturbing. So after his last escape, he goes on this murder spree in Southeast Asia, killed a British backpacker, Timothy McDowell dismembered him, then Gerard Lowe in Singapore.
How did he kill Lowe?
For
With a hammer. Then meticulously dismembered the body in their hotel room, disposed of the parts in Singapore Harbor.
meticulous.
Very. He's also the prime suspect in the disappearances of a Canadian couple, Sheila and Darren Damood, in Thailand.
What does this calculation tell us about his psychology?
It suggests this profound detachment. Lack of empathy is clear. He tried to rationalize Lowe's murder, claiming it was a reaction to a gay advance. But the calculated nature points to a clinical, methodical predator. Not chaotic rage, but cold precision.
Yeah, that challenges the stereotype of the killer just losing control. Scripps sounds like he was in control. Terrifyingly so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which brings us to Michael Bruce Ross, Connecticut's only convicted serial killer. And the big paradox with him is his polite demeanor versus utterly heinous acts. A sexual sadist.
Another case of hidden depths. What was his childhood like?
Tumultuous again. Emotional, physical abuse from his mother, Patricia, who was very unpredictable. He talked about these mom drills, kids listening to gauge her mood before going downstairs.
Wow, living on eggshells. Constantly. He craved her affection, leading to this really complex, unhealthy bond. Experts think this severely damaged his ability to form healthy attachments, feeding into the sadism.
But outwardly.
Outwardly, he was the model student. Ivy League, Cornell University, good grades, involved in agriculture, extracurriculars, the perfect facade.
It's almost unbelievable, the contrast.
It is, but underneath, these violent sexual fantasies were growing, led to erratic behavior, ruined his relationship with his girlfriend, Connie Young.
And when did fantasy turn into reality?
First sexual assault was in college, then the first murder, May 1981. He raped and killed Jungdon Goktu.
Did he think he could stop?
That's what's fascinating. He apparently believed he could control it, that he could stop, but he didn't. After graduation, he spiraled. Brutal murders of young women like Tammy Lee Williams, Deborah Smith Taylor.
And when caught, how did he react? That detachment again.
Chilling detachment. During police questioning, he said things like, there was nothing they could have said or done. They were dead as soon as I saw them. Incredibly. I used them. I abused them. Then I killed them. I treated them like so much garbage. And then this twist. I don't feel anything for them. I really wish I did. I don't feel anything. I feel really bad for the families.
Feeling bad for the families, but nothing for the victims. That's warped.
Deeply. He even described his impulses as an intrusive roommate. Wanted control, feared going insane if he lost it.
An intrusive roommate.
That's right.
Like it's separate from him.
Exactly. Trying to compartmentalize the evil, his case just shatters assumptions about normalcy. A polite exterior hiding unimaginable violence echoes that denial theme again.
It absolutely does. That facade is terrifying. Okay, let's keep going. Now we're looking at cases where family dysfunction really intersects with systemic betrayals. First, Ronald DeFeo Jr., Butch DeFeo.
Right, the Amityville horror killer. Born in Brooklyn, 1951, oldest of 5 kids.
What was the family situation?
Deeply troubled. His father had a violent temper, rumored ties to organized crime. They moved to that house in Amityville supposedly for a better life, but it was just a front.
A facade again.
Exactly. Abuse, conflict behind closed doors. The source says, beneath the veneer of success and happiness, Ronald DeFeo Sr. was a hot-tempered man, given to bouts of rage and violence.
And how did that affect Butch?
He was bullied at school, faced severe discipline at home, led to a troubled youth drugs, violent fights with his father. He even threatened him, "You fat prick, I'll kill you."
Foreshadowing.
Tragically, yes. November 14th, 1974. Butch took a .35 caliber rifle and methodically shot his entire family while they slept. 6 people.
His whole family. How did he explain it?
He said, "Once I started, I just couldn't stop. It went so fast." Chillingly matter of fact.
Did he confess right away?
Tried an alibi first, claimed intruders, but under questioning, he confessed. However, later on, troubling stuff came out about the investigation.
Like what?
Accusations of corruption, misconduct in the Suffolk County PD, coercion, even physical abuse to get confessions. It raises serious questions about how justice was served in his case.
Right, muddies the narrative, and of course this became huge in the media, the Amityville Horror, books, movies.
Massive cultural impact, which brings up that important point. Does the media sensationalism overshadow the real tragedy? Does it turn horrific suffering into just entertainment? Another betrayal for the victims?
It often feels that way, doesn't it? The human cost gets lost. Okay, next. Aileen Wuornos. A very different kind of case in some ways.
Absolutely. An American serial killer, but notable as one of the few women on death row in the U.S. Arrived at Broward Correctional in Florida, January '92. Stands out from the mostly male population we're discussing.
What was her background like? Trauma again?
Profound trauma. Born 1956, abandoned by her mother at 6 months. Father was in prison for serious crimes. Raised by grandparents who were authoritarian, abusive. Her grandfather physically assaulted her.
It's awful.
Left her with deep abandonment issues, trust issues. Clearly shaped her whole life.
And her life path. The murders.
She lived as a hitchhiker, a prostitute, constantly struggling financially. The murders of 7 men between 89 and 90 were often tied to that instability, and also a really turbulent relationship with her partner, Tyria Moore.
So relationship problems triggered violence.
Often, yes. Crises with Moore seemed to set off violent impulses. Wuornos always claimed self-defense, though. Said they tried to assault her. What am I supposed to do? It was all their fault.
But 7 times. Self-defense seems unlikely as the sole reason.
Highly unlikely. Her case is unique, though. It challenges stereotypes about gender and crime. A female prostitute killing older male clients. It's complex.
Right. It forces us to look at the intersection of gender, abuse, mental health, poverty, violence. It's not simple. Society often wants to view women as either victims or monsters, doesn't it?
Exactly. And Wuornos defies easy labels. That's why studying her case is so important. It pushes back against those simplistic views.